Hi there, good morning. So, I'm here this morning with Louise Howard, who will be joining us shortly. And Louise is a therapist, and I'm just going to just check that I've tagged her to make sure that she's coming on or knows how to get online with me. She's a therapist, and she has grown her practice, and she now works with 3 therapists. And so she is actually launching her coaching business, but her knowledge and wisdom around growing a therapy practice for healers and coaches and therapists is going to be really, really valuable for lots of you who are in the group. And so I'm looking forward to bringing her on and really tapping into her wisdom behind what she's done to make her practice work, how she's brought in clients, what's working for her in terms of marketing and mindset, and just get her to share a whole load of good stuff with you so that you can benefit from that too. So Adele, thank you for joining. So I'm just waiting for Louise to hop on. Let me just check and just check that she's online, just make sure that she's able to join me okay. Let's see, I'm sure she'll come on in a moment. So I know, Adele, lovely to have you here and wonderful that you could join me live. So thanks for coming on board. And I'm loving seeing all your bits and pieces about your new life in the country. So Louise says she's here, but for some reason I can't bring you on, Louise. Let me just have a look and see if I'm able to bring you on. Adele says, what's the topic today? So Louise, for some reason I am not able to invite you in. Hang on one second and let me see if... hang on, let me see if I can bring you. No, it's not letting me bring you on. For some reason, you need to be on your mobile and in landscape format for me to bring you on as a guest. Hang on, yeah. Which Adele is. I would be able to bring Adele on, but I can't bring you on, Louise. So Adele is saying, what's the topic today? So we're going to be talking about Louise's therapy practice. Brilliant, well done, Louise. Thank you for coming on. So Adele was just asking what topic is today. And so we're going to be talking about growing your therapy practice and your practice for healers, whatever it is that you are actually trying to gain clients for. So Louise, do you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself so that people can get a little bit of context of what you've been doing with your business and where you're taking it now?
Yeah, sure. So hi everyone, thanks for having me. About 6 years, I've worked in the travel industry for 20 years and then had a bit of a breakdown. I worked for Virgin Holidays as a learning and development executive, and I just thought I can't do this whole 9 to 5 anymore in the environment and the stress, and I was suffering myself. I had an eating disorder and I was going through a really bad time. So I found my way into holistic therapies. I went for a Reiki session to help me get better. And then I thought, this is fantastic. And so helped me so much that I just thought, I'm going to do this and I'm going to set up my own business. So I did. I quit my job and started a holistic therapies business and ran that for about 3 or 4 years. I had a little soap making business on the side as well, so that's kind of like what I started out doing, but that didn't really take off. And then I got to the point where I got fully booked and I couldn't really do any more clients, so I thought, well, where do I go from here? And then I started to work with other therapists and get other therapists into the practice. So there's 3 currently at the moment, possibly a 4th one coming on board soon. And then I got injured. So I thought, what am I going to do next? And I trained in some NLP and coaching. So I decided to go into coaching. So I kind of run the holistic therapies business and I coach people how to create a business like that. So yeah.
That's fabulous, isn't it? I love that. I love how, I mean, not all of it is positive in terms of how it all came about, but actually I love how the journey evolved for you through the challenges that you were facing yourself. And it's amazing actually to hear how people can build a business around that. So I think what people might be interested in today, because there's lots of healers and therapists in the group. I think what lots of them might be interested in, how did you get fully booked? How did you get to that point from starting literally from nothing, because you had changed industries, you'd changed jobs, you'd retrained yourself? How did you start off literally from ground zero to being at a point where you were hiring help to help you with the demand and help you cope with the amount of people that you had coming through the practice? Was there a particular strategy? Do you put that down to luck, mindset, good marketing, or, you know, how did that happen for you?
Well, it wasn't good marketing, I'll tell you that for nothing. It definitely wasn't that. It was sheer determination, and I kind of went about it the long, hard route, and that's what I teach people now not to do. Is I did put myself out there to a certain degree. I think a lot of it was just sheer determination. I'll be honest with you, I didn't really do any marketing. I had a Facebook page, and I had no marketing experience whatsoever. But the only thing that I did have was, when I trained in massage, the only marketing advice that I ever got, I took with it and I ran. So I did a process where I got clients in on a, you know, it's like what everyone does. We do a free session or we do a free thing. So I did a very discounted first massage. And then I did a 4-session package. I mean, we're talking very cheap. And I teach my clients now not to do this as cheap as I was doing it. And then I would get them signed up to a monthly standing order. So I had regular clients coming in every single month. I had a payday, as it were. So on the first of the month, all the standing orders will come in, which will cover my bills. And I did it that way, and I built that up, and then I gradually put my prices up. But yeah, that's basically how I did it. But it took me longer. It took me like 4 years to get to that point where you can do it a lot quicker if you've got your marketing a bit better. But yeah, that's how I did it, really.
But it's great, actually, that idea of having some way of having recurring revenue, because I think what a lot of people struggle with is that roller coaster of, well, you know, 1 week my diary's looking empty, and the next week I'm like literally so stretched for time I don't have time to go to the loo. So it's that idea of, and obviously that affects people's income, because some weeks or some months are like bumper months, and then some months are really slack. So so that idea of actually getting that guaranteed revenue coming in every month is really smart, and I'm sure that there are people that are doing that. And so do you have an idea of, if people are just starting out with their own therapy practice now, are there pitfalls that you would advise them to look out for and avoid?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's the main thing that stops people putting themselves out there is confidence. So that's not really a pitfall. Pitfalls really to think about are injury. Massage therapists generally about 10 years before, depending on what kind of work that you're doing. Reflexology, repetitive strain injury is rife in our industry. Wrists start to go, and that was the reason why I went into coaching, because I injured my shoulder, and that was literally through doing too much massage. So injury is a massive, it's kind of not a pitfall of business, but it's something that you really need to watch out for right even at the beginning. I say to people, think of how you can start to grow and scale your business kind of straight away, because if you're doing too much, if you're doing 20 clients a week more sometimes, then you're going to get to a point where your wrists and your hands or your shoulders or whatever it may be, or your back, is going to start to suffer for that. So things you want to watch out for really from the beginning, postural wise, and how you work, there are ways around not getting injured. And the other one, big one, and what a lot of therapists do, and probably what I did, is burnout. It's a real energetic wise and physical wise. It's hard work doing massage or healing work, whatever it is that you're doing, all day, every day. So is really managing your time and taking care of yourself, so that you're not getting to a point where you get resentment and you know all of these emotions that come up because you're just completely knackered.
Yeah.
So it's really important, and that comes down to your pricing as well. So if you haven't structured your pricing correctly, and you're just doing clients because you need the money, well then there's instantly that's a fast ticket to burnout. You want to be making sure that you're doing enough clients that will not burn you out, but you're charging enough that you're going to make enough money. So they're the two major pitfalls, really, particularly for massage therapists with injury, and even with healing work. It's very energetically draining at the end of the day to do too much. So they're the biggies, really, that people need to kind of watch out for right from the start.
So I want to come back to something that you said back there, but before I do, it's funny that you talk about burnout, because actually I know that like a massage therapist is quite a physical, their routine is going to involve quite a lot of physicality. But I reached burnout. The reason why I started the WordPress Success Bootcamp, where I was teaching people to create websites, is because I couldn't take on any more clients. I totally reached my income ceiling, and I was burnt out because I wasn't valuing my time. I was working crazy hours to grow other people's businesses, and I literally I couldn't take on any more. And I would find myself literally setting my alarm for 3 a.m. sometimes to meet my client deadlines, and it was insane. And at that point, I realized that something had to change. And I think that so what you're saying is there are parallels even with the kind of service industry.
Yeah.
But you mentioned something right at the beginning of talking about pitfalls, and that was confidence. And I'd love to talk to you a little bit more about that, because I know you're really big on mindset. And I know that there's, in terms of getting fully booked, putting yourself out there, getting enough clients to make a good living, a lot of it comes down to confidence. So is there anything that you can talk to us around that might help anyone that's struggling a little bit with mindset or confidence?
Yeah, it's what advice would I give? So I speak to a lot of therapists who are either still in a 9 to 5, or they're completely stuck. They're stuck with they've got the skills, they've got everything that they need, but they have this fear of putting themselves out there, fear of being seen, doing Facebook lives. It's a massive, so many people are just frightened of putting themselves out there. Now, the kind of mindset work that I do, and I'm really passionate about mindset, because I think it's 90% of business is what is going on between it here is how you're perceiving yourself and your business and your ability to run your business. Basically, most of the stuff that I do with clients, particularly if you're, for any reason, but if you're frightened of putting yourself out there, it will generally come back to something from when you're smaller. So it can often stem back from, they might have been in a big family and been had to keep really small and quiet so that they didn't get told off or into trouble, or it generally will stem back to something from when you're small, a pattern of behavior that you've created from when you're very, very little. And that can be quite tricky. I talk about the ego a lot. It's not sneaky, it's trying to protect you, it's trying to do its job. But the top tips that I would say to people, when you feel yourself procrastinating, when you are aware that you are just kind of putting stuff off and not doing stuff to grow your business and doing everything else like housework or shopping or whatever it may be, when you are in that kind of place of fear, is to kind of go back to that fear. What are you afraid of? Because that's the only thing that stops people from really putting themselves out there, is a fear of something, a fear of being seen, a fear of being successful, and is kind of journaling a little bit about that and getting to know why you're feeling that fear. Fear of success, fear of failure, they're kind of big ones. Fear of being you, or being allowed to put yourself out there, because you might, as a child, you might have had to play very small and safe and hide under tables and not be seen. So when you're aware you're doing things like that, then that's the key, because then you can start to journal that, question that, analyze that. It's quite hard on yourself, I'll be honest. It's hard to do it with yourself. That's why a coach is so much, can help you kind of unpluck all of that information. But if you're procrastinating, changing your mind, putting things off, then you know that that fear is running really strong in you and stopping you from doing your video or whatever it may be. It's getting to the root cause of that. That's really how you clear the clutter and clear the mind. Because when you're clear in here, you have a purpose. You have a purpose. You know why you're doing what you're doing, to help other people. So the motivation to do that is stronger than the ego stuff that says, oh no, you can't do that because you might look silly, you might look daft or whatever. Your purpose is what drives you. When you haven't got so much clutter going on in here, you can go out there with confidence and say, yes, I am great at this thing that I do, and I can serve other people with it. So it can be a tricky one to figure out yourself, the mindset stuff, but you can do things to help yourself along the way, definitely.
Yeah. And it's so critical to get beyond that. And I absolutely, I'm with you 100% about 90% of business being around confidence and mindset. And that's something that it took me a huge amount of time, longer than I would even care to admit, to recognize that, and to recognize that working on myself was a really, really important part of making my business successful. So, actually, I started off in business in 2003, and I would say for the first 10 years, I just kind of bimbled along, really not very confident, with huge imposter syndrome, and really, it took me a long time to want to get visible. So, so that's really interesting what you say about that, and I think it's hugely valuable for people. So, so if people, because I think there's probably a lot of people that could benefit from working with you. So if people wanted any kind of advice one-to-one, or if you have a program that they might be able to work on their kind of mindset and getting fully booked and learning more about how to fill their practice, where can they find out about you?
So my group is called Build and Grow Your Practice for Therapists and Healers, and I'll pop the little link in so that you can join me there. I've got a 4-week intensive that starts on the 17th. So that's for therapists who really want to, put their foot on the pedal and go, right, okay. So it's a lot of finding out your ideal client work, really niching down on who your ideal client is. Some marketing to get you out there, some mindset stuff, some money mindset stuff, which is, again, another block that we all have to a certain degree, is about money mindset. And that's kind of, you get some one-to-one sessions with me, and you get support in a group as well. And of course, you can do one-to-one coaching with me if you want some of the deeper mindset work. Sometimes takes a little bit more time and a bit more kind of personal one-to-one work. So yeah, it all goes on in the group really at the moment. My website is being built as we speak, so that will be live hopefully soon, before Christmas. So everything is done within the group, so feel free to join in the group. I post loads of stuff in there. I'm always in there because I love my group and my people in there. So I often do lives depending on topics that people will put in, or things that people will post, all about mindset and basically how to get yourself out there and create a successful business. So feel free to join the group.
Loving being part of your group. So let me just have a look at some of the comments that people are putting in here. Let's just have a look, see if anyone's got any questions before we just wrap up. So let's just see. Janine says, many of my clients suffer from the belief of not being enough, which they 99% of the time develops in their childhood. Adele says, trauma and PTSD are emotion-based, so therapy is very focused and individual. Wise move, Janine. Or maybe I'm reading these the wrong way around. Adele says, confidence, valuing what you do. Yes. Janine says, yes, the energy exchange is very important. I share a lot of free info in my group too, but I've stopped giving away free therapy sessions. I'm a trauma and PTSD specialist. So I think Janine may have put that in response to what you were saying initially about how you got fully booked when you were talking about giving away free sessions.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that there is a bit of an issue of whether you want to do free sessions or not, or whether you want to do a discount. There's ways of doing it, and I always say to my clients to do what feels right for you. Some people will do free sessions and that will work for them. And in my practice at the moment, we don't do, some of us offer free sessions, some of us will do a discounted first price. So it's a personal thing. There's no real, there is a formula for it, but there are different options that people can do. So if they don't want to do free sessions, There's things that I feel it works for, not great with massage, but it does work with other things. So yeah, it's a personal kind of preference really, but there's other options there for people to do.
Yeah, it is. And that's an ongoing discussion as well in the coaching industry as to whether or not you should give away a free discovery session, strategy session, or whatever it might be. So I think that's not isolated to therapy as such, but the thing about that is that you have overheads in terms of a room and that kind of thing that you need to consider when you've actually got a person that's physically coming to see you. And of course, when you're spending time with them, then you're not spending time making money with a paying client. So there's a trade-off, isn't there? But
yeah, definitely. So it can work for like groups, you know, Pilates instructors, yoga instructors, because they're running a group anyway. So a couple of extra people isn't going to make a difference. But for a massage therapist, that's half hour out of your day. So there's other ways of doing it, free consultations, different options. So yeah, it's just similar thing for coaches as well, definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Fabulous. Okay, well that's been wonderful. Thank you so much for all your information. Well, is there anything else that you want to add before you go? Any like significant nuggets of wisdom that I haven't prized out of you that you think might be useful for anybody?
Nuggets of wisdom. Oh my gosh, let me think. I think one of the most important things, I talk about it all the time, and I say it, the most important thing therapists and healers need to do is work on themselves every single day. And this the mindset piece, but it's do what you need to do. Because my mentor, I trained a little bit in psychotherapy, and I'm not a psychotherapist, but I can get down to your life script and help you kind of sort that out. That's a very general term, but I can help you change that. And he says that there's only one thing that's stopping you from getting where you want to be, and it's your life script, this pattern of behavior that you created when you were very, very small. And I know, because I've done the process myself, what a massive huge changes that can bring to your life, because you may have permissions to do things and you may not have permissions to do things. So if you're running a life script that says no, you don't be successful, and you don't put yourself out there, and you don't be important, then you're going to have this constant battle of trying to do what you want to do, but you're battling against your life script over and over again, and it's very frustrating because you just feel like you're not getting anywhere, or you feel stuck and you don't understand why you can't get past that certain income level, or you can't find a partner, or whatever it may be, you know, across all parts of life. So if you're not where you want to be in your business, whether it be a therapies practice or whether it be coaching or whatever any of your clients or people in your group are doing, then it's thinking to yourself, okay, am I stuck at a point? Do I keep repeating patterns of behavior over and over again? What am I doing to get myself out of that? And go finding the program, finding the coach, finding whoever it is that can help you. Because if you really, 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 really want to get where you're going, you can get there. But the one thing that you need to be doing is working on what goes on in there. So it's kind of like a do the work, you know. It's like you said, to get you struggle. I struggled for 4 years in my business before I started making any money. And as soon as I got out of my own way, I think I joined the coaching program and I 7 times my income in about 3 months, like literally. For me, it was quite like, whoa. So it's you can have what you want. Absolutely, you can have what you want. You just have to find a way of figuring out how you can help get out of your own way to get there. I think that's my top tip in life, in anything.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I was going to say that's relevant to anybody, because I wish that someone had given me that advice, 15 years ago, because it would have made me sit up and listen and think, okay, I am kind of stuck in a pattern. But yeah, that's fabulous. Thank you so much. Thank you, Louise, for coming on and sharing that with us.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
And thank you, you too. And we'll post your link to your group in the comments below.
Oh, that'd be lovely. Thank you. Thanks,
Louise.
Bye for now.
Take care. Bye-bye.